What up, y'all? Today we are going to pick the Baltic Assa Twin Exclusive. It has 6 pins in the top stacks with barrel drivers, and then it has 5 side pins into which this sidebar retracts so that it can come out of the housing into the core and then the lock can open. We first have to pick the barrels to shear. The barrels have the sharp lips on them, and those interact with the milling in the core, so they get all caught up in there. And you got to get those all to shear, and then you can pick the sidebar, and then you get the open. One thing that makes this lock unique compared to some of the Assa twins is it's got those little double protrusions on there that go into the true gates on the side pins. And that little gap in between that little double protrusion there allows it to bite into these false gates. And so it was not nearly as difficult as like the Assa Twin 6000, but it picked a little bit more like a V10. Still really fun pick, and the barrels were very challenging. The key bitting is great. It's got this high pin 1, which I was having a real hard time telling the feedback from. I think that's what hung me up most. And then it's got this nice low pin in the middle with a high cut right after it. The sidebar bitting has this nice really low in the middle, and then lots of high lifts. High lifts on the sidebar can be pretty challenging, especially it's a little tough to get under those side pins, and it's a little bit cramped, so I had to use this kind of smaller multi-pick number 10 flag, and it worked great. And to pick the top pins, I used this Peterson Shrike pick. It's 25 thousandths, and it kind of looks like the Sparrow's Lunatic, but it just worked really well to kind of get under that low cut up to the high cut, and it worked really well to kind of get up on in there, because since it's pin 1, you don't really have the ability to leverage real well to get it. You got to come at it at a weird angle, and this pick was really good at that. I used this tensioner from the 13 or 14 piece tension. It's like a Chinese tension set, but I just filed it down a little bit, sanded it down a little bit so that it would really fit perfect in that keyway. I had started to use a 40 thousandths Peterson pry bar, but it was kind of messing up the keyway, and it's kind of a rare lock, so I really wanted to keep it in as good as condition as I could. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get into the pick. Assa Twin Exclusive, Baltic style. The evilness of this lock is so understated. It's all about this max lift pin 1, and I have a hard time telling when it's set on account of it's just weird, hard to tell the bouncy feedback. I got this lock open one time a few minutes ago, and I was so excited I almost pooped a little bit. And now I want to do it again on video on account of that's how you gotta do it. Pixar didn't happen. For belt system anyway. Oh, fingers in the way. So we got 2. Dang. I may have just overset pin 1. Let's give it a little nudge. See if everything drops. I'm going to go in with the flag, see what happens. I'm feeling close. I know it's holding me up. I've overset slider number 1. Oh, that felt good. That was slider 5. I still think I overset number 1 though. Wonder if I just dropped all the top stacks doing that. I was just trying to release a little tension to drop a slider, but let's see. It might be okay. Let's try that again. I think there's something up top that's not finished yet. Just based on feedback, I think I've been just picking too long today, and I'm not getting the sensitivity that I probably need to tell. Booyah! Can we see it? Can we see it? I'm such a happy boy. This came all the way from Estonia to get touched on by me. And now that I'm done with it, hopefully I can, like, send it to some other people to touch on. Hopefully it gives them as much trouble as it gave me. Alright, so that was 15 minutes worth of picking right there. Which means I don't have long to gut this bad boy. Oops. Try and keep you in frame here. That ought to do. So first we'll take these top stacks out. First we'll lock it up. I had this little sticker down here to help prevent me from making that big old picking gouge in the bottom of it. I don't know how effective it was, but I think it was better than nothing. I didn't have any masking tape or anything, and I don't think it was keyway where you could really stick a tension tool in the bottom of it. It would have required some kind of little, maybe custom clip or something, but I used a little sticker, a little child sticker. It was found kind of plasticky. Figured it'd work out. So it's got this cool little bar that you unscrew, and then you can just take the pins right out of there. I'm so shaky. So we'll start damping these things. Yeah, dude, the hardest part is just knowing once you've got all those barrels set. So I just got an Assa Twin V10 with gins in it. And so I now have one of each twin, Assa Twin, on the belt list. So that's the V10 with gins and the V10 with barrels, the 6000 with gins, 6000 barrels, this Baltic exclusive, and the combi, the twin combi. And I mean, the combi, like, yeah, I've got it. I don't know that that's a lock that I currently have the skills for, but hopefully one day I will. The only lock I've ever really had to rotate side pins on is the Primus, Schlag Primus. I sucked at that. But somebody on Reddit said, and this was probably somebody who's like really good picker. I think it was Rain, how do you say his name? I don't know that dude very well, but yeah, he said that the side pins on the combi are very vocal. They kind of let you know what you're doing to them and kind of where you're at with it. And so, hopefully, I don't know, maybe that'll make it easier for me than the Primus pins, which are smooth and don't tell you a whole lot. Oops, get that back in there. I mean, I'm so happy right now, you guys. This is very cool. Spent a couple weeks on something and got to the point where I felt like I was making no progress for days at a time. You know, I was in a slump. But then, just find your vibe, and you get it. So we got our sidebar here. Got our little sidebar springs. Show off one of the pins here. Actually, I'm running out of time, so I'm just going to zoom them all at the end. So we're going to show milling in there. Got a little bit of my sticker on my finger. It's sticking, so I call it a sticker. Got where the sidebar goes. There's your keyway. It's pretty open. Hopefully I didn't mess it up too much with all the tension I was using. I actually changed tension tools because it felt like the one that I was using, Peterson 40 thousandths, was kind of digging into it. Oops. And then we've got our key. And then we've got what makes this lock kind of special is those double gates on that sidebar. And you can see that it's got that big wide gate for it to fit into. Take a look in here. Beautiful lock, nice and heavy, and great fun to pick. All right, appreciate y'all. Have a good one.